Here is the start to our journey out to the interior. We arrived the night before the boat was to depart because it was to leave very early. There was a bar that had quite some loud music that night, and it was very hot. Here's our sleeping arrangements, and Xander slept in a little and Angelina was up at the crack of dawn. We enjoyed the sunrise and began our 8-hour trip to arrive at the community called Philadelphia. Angelina was able to make some friends. Here we are taking a small speedboat to arrive with Hina and his family that are pictured here. Here, Hina and I, with the kids, took off to visit a community. There were some neat fruits and things we got to experience. We also went as a family to visit some other communities nearby Philadelphia. And the kids, they really enjoyed their time on the boat and were able to enjoy the nice cool breeze. But sometimes it became a little difficult. But we are very thankful for this first community that we got to visit here. This community is about 25 minutes from Philadelphia, where Henan's family lives. We got to know the families there, and the kids loved playing with the other kids. And we also had a devotional later that night and sang some songs. Afterwards, we headed back to Henan's house, spent the night, and left after breakfast. Here we are on our way to the next community to visit, Centenário. We were so thankful for our time with Hina and his family and for them welcoming us into their home. Here we are heading to visit Centenário, the community where missionary Marco and his wife and son live. This is an overview of the community. We arrived mid-morning and came up the dock stairs to visit with the family. We are so thankful for them welcoming us into their home. The kids loved it too. We are going to head to a community nearby. Marco took us with an orphan that lives with them, Daniel. We saw an alligator on the way. We came up some steps to arrive in the community where we visited and got to know some of the believers that are there. We headed back to Centenário and spent the night at Marcus's house, where the next day we would explore the community. We had a wonderful lunch that day and took a walk around the community. It's a very large community with about 20 families. We headed off the next morning at 6 a.m. to visit 2 couples that are discipled by the missionaries. During our hour-and-a-half boat ride, we were able to pass through the beautiful jungles, and when we arrived, the kids swam almost all day. This home did not have any running water or electricity, but we loved our time there getting to know the people. It was a birthday party, and we spent the night at this couple's home. In the morning, we were able to sing some songs, and I had the opportunity to give my first Devo in Portuguese that the Lord really helped me with. Then we headed back to Marcus's home. The kids had quite the long night and were very tired on the trip back. We're so thankful to God for this trip, and we headed back home that day. After praying for wisdom and clarity on where the Lord would have us to be for our 1 year of training before we build our house in a new work, we decided that this community here, Centenário, would be where we start this training. We have so much that we need to learn and grow in as we take this new step in our ministry. This will be a new lifestyle to us, and during our training, we will be focusing on adjusting to the way of life here, as well as me working on my Portuguese, but also we have the wonderful blessing of living right near Marco and his family, where we will get to tag along as they minister to the Ribeirinhos and disciple and bring the gospel to those who are without Christ. Now, the mission has a house on the property already that a missionary recently moved out of, and they told us that we would be able to stay there. And this is that house. Now, this house has been here for a little while, so the mission told us that they're going to be working on some renovations. They'll be redoing the bathroom and redoing the whole section of the kitchen, so it'll be ready for our family when we move. It's a big house that has 4 bedrooms and will have plenty of space for us and our children. On the lot the mission has, there's a community center, a church they planted, as well as the house of Marco and his family. We are so excited to be able to live here for this year of training, and please be praying for us as we go through this change starting in February and as we learn to work with the Ribeirinhos.